Anirban, what do you
Yes,
think?
sir. Yes, it works.
It works.
Yes.
So, uh, can you give me, so if I have 2 points, P and Q, uh, what is the line that I'm going to take? So again, it's simple, right? I just take the
The line
line
in
that
R2
exactly
and intersect.
this line in R2 and I intersect. Yeah. How do I get three non-collinear points? Can you give me three non-collinear points? Can somebody think of three non-collinear points? Shashank?
We can take in R2 like half comma 0 and 0 comma half and 0.
Very good.
0 comma 0 actually.
Very good. So we can take half comma 0, 0 comma 0 and 0 comma half.
Collinear.
Yeah, why are they not
0,
collinear?
comma half.
Yeah. So we have this point here. So I have this line joining. I have this line joining. Okay. So I think you can convince yourself that this is not collinear. Yeah. These are not collinear. So I have the first two axioms that are satisfied. Now let's compare it with R2 once again. There is one small thing that we talked about, like when I said that given any 2 points, there is a line joining those 2 points, right? So far we have only had that assumption. We haven't put any extra assumption on that. But just think about it. In R2 we have something more, right? It's not just that we have a line joining those 2 points. There is something special. See, we'll come back to this. See, let's look at another, before we get to that one point, let's look at another example. Again, I take X to be R2 and I take L to be circles. Let me write it properly. This is the set of all C, A, B, R, where say D, W would be C, R, A, B, where A, B is in R2, R is positive, and what is this? This C, R, A, B. This is just a circle of radius R centered at XY, centered at AB. So this is the set of all XY, such that X minus A the whole square plus Y minus B the whole square equals R square. So let's see, does this satisfy the first property? Does this satisfy the first axiom? Given any 2 points, can I draw a circle joining those 2 points? So if I have P and Q, you see, of course I can draw a circle, right? How do I do that? I simply take the line joining these two, take the midpoint and draw a circle of that radius. But now you see that, yeah, Fiona?
Is the origin there in that, like the zero radius circle is there in that set?
No,
Okay.
no. Like R is positive here. R is positive. Yeah. So now you see, I can definitely draw a line, quote unquote, joining these 2 points, but I can do a lot more, right? See, I draw a perpendicular to this diameter. I take any point on this and I draw these lines joining these P to this point and Q to this point. And now you see, I have another circle passing through P and Q. In fact, I can keep going anywhere on this line. If I take something like this, you see, I get another circle. So I have many circles I can draw. The same goes on this side also. Right? So I have uncountably many circles that I can draw joining P and Q. Is this something that we see in R2, in our usual R2, in our first love? Given any 2 points, what do we have over here? In this case, in this example, we definitely have a line joining 2 points. But what we have is, in this example, what we have is, let's compare it with our standard example. So this is our X, say R2 with this L, and this is the standard R2. So in this, what do we have? So given any 2 points, there are many lines. So PQ through P and Q. Does that happen in our standard example? Given any 2 points, can you find 2 lines passing through P and Q? How many of you say? Okay, very good. No, right? In R2, we have something special. In R2, what we have is, given any 2 points, there is a unique line joining P and Q. Yeah. So this model is different from our standard model in this sense, that I may have more than one line joining 2 points. Yeah. But now see, what we said is that this model that we have, it satisfies the first axiom. It satisfies A1. Does it satisfy A2? Can you give me 3 non-collinear points? Can you give me 3 non-collinear points?
The collinear ones in standard R2.
The non-collinear ones in standard R2?
No, the collinear ones in standard or R2. Like if you take 3 points lying on the same line.
You take 3 points lying on the same line, then you can't find a circle.
Yes, passing through all 3 of them.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. So this is an example which has A1, it has A2, but the one difference that we have from our standard R2 is that I could possibly have more lines passing through P and Q than in R2. Okay. So now you see, let's look at the example that we had over here. This example. How many lines do you have passing through 1 and 2? There's a unique line, right? There's only one line passing through 1 and 2. There's only one line passing through 2 and 3. There's only one line passing through 3 and 1. Okay. So now let's write this as, because we are trying to sort of replicate what we had in our R2, let's write this as axiom A1 prime. Given PQ in X, there exists a unique line such that passing through P and Q. Okay. So now we have 3 axioms. Yeah, Anirban.
This is silly, but why not A3?
Because again, we are trying to sort of, again, you can call it A3 if you want, but again, A1 was our axiom that, oh, between any two lines, there is between any 2 points, there is a line passing through them, right? And we were all satisfied with that. Then we looked at more examples and we realized that, oh, we missed one thing when we were looking at R2, right? We take it for
Okay.
granted. So
So
that's
modified
why,
A1.
exactly, this is modified A1.
Okay.
Yeah. But we also saw that we get some nice pictures, we get some nice examples if we look at just A1 also, right? So we want to keep that. We don't want to get rid of that, but we also want this because this is something that goes with our perception. Okay. So let's look at another model. So today we're just going to look at some models and so on. So let's look at, say, X equals S2. How many of you know what S2 is? So it's just the 2 sphere in R. Yes, Keshav, you have a question?
Sir, why not just A1 only? Like, sir, we have different curves in R2 as well, right? So we
Yes.
can just think of the smallest curve, the least.
Okay, that's a very good point. But I'll come to that in a bit. If you'll allow me like a 15-20 minute detour,
Yes.
I'll come to that. Okay. So let's take this. This is the set of all points in R3 such that squared plus y squared plus z square equals 1. So this is the unit sphere in R3. Okay. And what is this collection L that I'm taking? This is the set of all great circles. What do I mean by great circles? That means I take any plane passing through the origin. Okay, I take any plane passing through the origin and I look at the intersection of the plane with the circle, with the sphere. Okay, so I'll draw the picture, but let me just write it. This is the set of all L, A, B, C, where ABC is in R3. Now, what is this ABC fellow? So what is this LABC? What am I doing? I am taking, so I take a plane passing through the origin. So this is my X, Y, and Z axes. And I take some plane passing through the origin. And I look at the intersection of this plane with this. Yeah. So just these great circles. Like any plane, and as I keep moving around the plane, I get more and more great circles. So you can see that I have something. I can have something like this. I can have something like this. I can have any kind of sphere. Okay. So what is this LABC? So this LABC, this is just a set of all XYZ in S2 such that AX plus BY plus CZ equals. Okay. Now again, you see, does this satisfy the first property? Does this satisfy the property that given any 2 points, there is a line passing through them. Yes, right? How do we do it? Given any 2 points on the sphere, see, let's just take something that we have over here. Given these 2 points on the sphere, what can we do? We can look at the plane spanned by these 2 points, right? And we look at the intersection of the sphere with this plane, they will definitely contain these 2 points. Unless, what happens if I take the 2 poles? Unless the 2 points are antipodal, then what do we do? Shashank?
Yes, sir.
Yes, what do we do in this case if the points are antipodal? If the points are diametrically opposite? How do I find a great circle passing through these two?
It's not unique in that case.
It's not unique in that case. But can you find?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely find, right?
Yes, sir.
See, so the point he is trying to make is that, so I have this, and say the points that I choose are the North Pole and the South Pole. My South Pole, this is my North Pole. Can you think of a plane? So now you see, in this case, what do I have? Let's look at the equator. If I take any point on the equator, I can look at the plane passing through a plane generated by this point on the equator and the North Pole. And I get this great circle which passes through these 2 points. Yeah. But now you see, it's not unique anymore. I can rotate this plane around, right? I can rotate this plane around and I keep getting more and more things. Okay, I can keep getting more and more great circles which pass through these 2 points. So it satisfies. So A1 is satisfied. And now you see, we have also checked that A2 is satisfied. Okay, A1 is satisfied. A2 is satisfied, but A1 prime fails. Okay, A1 prime fails. Yeah. So we have this nice, interesting model. Now, so we have this nice, interesting model where we have A1, we have A2, but A1 prime fails. So we don't have a unique line passing through these 2 points. So now it's up to us. Do we want it to be a problem? Do we want to study spaces where we don't care about A1 prime so much? We don't care if there is a unique line or not. We are just happy as long as there is a line passing through 2 points, right? So that is entirely up to us. That is a choice that comes from looking at whatever problems we have or whatever we are studying, right? So that is another reason why I did A1 and A1 prime rather than just modifying A1. Okay. So let's go back to the model that we had. So any questions so far? Is this model clear? If there are any questions, please ask. Okay. Great. Yes, Keshav.
Sir, in this case, if we consider only non-boundary points, then we will be done, right?
What do you mean non-boundary points?
Internal. I mean, like we did unit disk.
Right. But what is the set of lines that I'll take there?
We will take the same Like we will create the plane passing through this, but just we will not take these north pole, south pole, and all those.
So then you think that we'll get a unique line passing through any 2 points?
So I think we should get.
What if I take this point and this point?
Okay, sir.
If I take any point in the line joining these antipodal points, again I can do the same thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Vikram,
Yes, sir.
he said something about boundary point, asking whether he is looking at the surface or the solid sphere.
Ah, okay. Keshav, is this set clear? First of all, we are only looking at the what you called the boundary points. We are
Yes.
not looking at the solid sphere.
Yes, sir. I meant to change the example to solid, like we did
Right. Okay. So you're saying just like we did for the disk and the lines.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. But now is the point clear?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. No, it is.
So now I'm not going to write down the list, but there is another interesting example that I just want to give. And again, you'll find all the details in the book. I take 7 points. Okay. And I can, you can take this as exercise or exploration. I want you to think about this. So these are the reason I'm drawing it like this. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, these are the points. Now, what are the lines that I'm going to take? This here. Now this is not enough. I need a line connecting these 2 points. So I have this. I need a line connecting these 2 points. So I have this. Is this enough? How many of you think this is enough? Or do I need to add something? See, I don't have a line joining the points 4 and 5. I don't have a line joining the points 4 and 6 and 5 and 6, right? So I'll draw this. So in this, what is in my picture? What is this? This is just the subset 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now, as an exercise, what I want you to do is just think about this set. Does it satisfy A1? Does it satisfy A1 prime? Does it satisfy A2? What are the properties that it satisfies? Let's go back to R2. So now we know that we have 3 non-collinear points. Okay. So now I have these 3 non-collinear points, P and Q, and I can draw a line passing through P and Q. Right? So what does that mean? In R2, I can have a situation where I have a line and I have a point R outside it. Again, close your eyes and think about it. The minute I have a line and a point R outside it, what is the first picture that comes to mind? Just think about it, and if you get that picture, click yes. Does anybody have that picture? Yes, Abhay?
Hello.
Yeah.
What is the distance maybe
What is the distance?
of R from that line?
Okay, Viona?
I want to draw a circle through them.
Okay, now let's just go back to basics. We only have points and lines.
Okay. Then I want to draw a triangle.
You want to draw a triangle. So does that mean that any line that I draw through R, so okay, at least everybody agrees that I can draw a line through R. Any line that I draw through R, will it always meet this line L? No. So what does that mean? That means given this point R, I can draw a line passing through R, which does not say L prime, which does not meet this line L, right? What does that mean? That means L and L prime, they don't intersect. Yeah. How many such lines can I draw? Can somebody think of another line? Like, can I draw another line passing through R, which does not intersect L? Say yes if you can draw such a line. Excellent. Fiona is so, I mean, she so badly wants to draw a triangle that she's even annoyed with this one line. She doesn't want any more lines which don't intersect, right? So, but in R2, that's what we have, right? In R2, we have this added notion that given any line L and a point P which doesn't lie on L, what can we do? There exists a line L prime such that, first thing, this L prime passes through P, and second thing, L prime does not intersect L. Yeah. Does everybody agree that we have this notion in R2, in our standard R2? Now you see, we have something else. We have something else which we've been using when we think of drawing triangles, when we think of drawing this, that, and everything. There is something else that we've been using. That what are the possibilities? When can, if I give you two lines, say if I have two lines L1 and L2, I don't tell you what they are. I just draw them. So I don't draw them. I just say that I have two lines L1 and L2. What are the possibilities that we have? That I have this situation where I have two lines L1 and L2. What are the possibilities? How will you draw it? If you draw it, what can happen? If anybody has an answer, please say yes. I've said this before, but I cannot say this enough. Thank you so much for curry leaf. And I would encourage everyone who is here, if they have not joined the Facebook page, or if they haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, I would really encourage them to do so. The Curry Leaf team has done a fantastic job in organizing these lectures, and they will continue to do so. So all my wishes for their success. And of course, as an MTTS alumni, I'm also a part of Curry Leaf. So if you need any help, please let me know. And I really encourage everybody to join the Facebook page and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Right? Thank you, Curry Leaf.